Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with Teofimo Lopez Senior. Senior, we've just seen your son here do a workout, and it looked like he was a man possessed on the pads when he was doing his sit-ups, press-ups. Man, how ready is he for the Kambosos fight?
Well, listen, I was over here with the crowd, and a lot of these people were coming up to me, and they said they'd never seen a workout like this. You know, the last time they saw a workout like this was with Floyd Mayweather, and you know that's props for us. You know, we take this serious, man. We're like 5-10 steps ahead of everybody that we're gonna fight. Every fight that we have is like we're gonna face a world champion. You know, and that's just the way we do it. I tell my son, you know, to make it in this sport, you just got to beat whoever's in front of you, and, you know, everything will just fall into place, you know, and that's what we're doing.
Kambosos, what dangers does he bring to this fight? I mean, we've seen your son dethrone the pound-for-pound king and Teofimo Lopez, but what dangers does Kambosos bring?
Well, he's a very strong fighter mentally. You know, he comes to win, and that's what we want. We want a competitive fight. We don't want, you know, to fight no scrub. I think Kambosos was a good opponent for us right now, you know, especially with the platform that we're doing right now with, you know, all these celebrities singing for us and you know, making a big performance for this show that nobody has ever seen nothing like that, you know. Like I told everybody before, you know, all these big stars come in with, you know, with Lil Wayne or Justin Bieber or whatever it is. This time around it's going to be different because it's going to be a big concert, and after the concert, the main event is my son. So, you know, we're just blessed to be able, you know, for Trillo to trust us, to know that we're going to bring in a big performance that night. It's just unbelievable, man.
It's all about the entertainment factor with Trillo. They're doing something different with YouTube fights, bringing old fighters back, retired fighters, the legends back, and obviously for the pure boxing fans, we get your son against Kambosos, we get Regis Prograis against Red Cash last time out. I mean, they're doing something different, which is maybe strange for the hardcore boxing fans, but it's bringing in some new boxing fans, isn't it?
Yeah, the good thing about Trillo is that they want real fighters. You know what I'm saying? I believe Holyfield was supposed to be in the fight. I don't know if he's still on the fight, but you know, they want to put a card where there's real fighters. You know, that's what they want to do, and they want to do their performance. You know, what they're good at. You know, with the concerts, with Jennifer Lopez being you know, already signed with us and all that stuff. That I believe so. You know, we have Anuel. We might get Karol G. I don't know, but we have J Balvin, Maluma. You know, everybody's hopping aboard. You know, it's the biggest show in the year for the Latinos. You know, when it comes to boxing, and what better performance than my son being in there and giving these people what they want, which is, you know, a knockout. You know, you don't see that much in boxing anymore. You know, just the way he does it is just amazing. You know, he's an entertainer. My son is an entertainer, and you can see everybody when they watch my son. You don't see nobody on the phones. You don't see nobody on their cell phones. You see everybody just watching him, because you never know when a knockout is going to come. He's very precise, very smart, you know, and we want the toughest fights. We want the best fights, you know, because it just makes my son better. You know, that fight with Lomachenko, people don't understand, man. We just went to another level, you know, beating this guy. And we're going to show that on June 19th.
You say you want the best fights and the biggest fights. Now, I was overhearing your media huddle with some of the American media here that you want Josh Taylor. Now, I know you're not a man to mix your words, so I'm Scottish, same as Josh. You might give me some shit, but that's all good.
I'm not give you no shit. I'm just worried about Josh Taylor because I think that's the fight that he would have wanted. You know, my son is the hottest thing right now in boxing. You know, he's the one taking the challenges. Who wouldn't want to beat a guy that just beat Lomachenko? You know what I'm saying? Why you want to beat a guy that's a mandatory to you? You know, we couldn't give Kambosos step side money because he's making $2 million with us. So, you know, the fight to be made right now in boxing is with Teofimo Lopez at the 135 weight division and at the 140 weight division.
The reason I think Josh wants that, because he's not fought in Scotland for over 4 years. I think with the Jack Carroll being that he's English, and he wants to give his Scottish fans welcome him back home, so to speak. So the mandatory for him makes sense because he wants to fight at Edinburgh Castle or this football stadium that we have in Edinburgh. So I think that's why he wants. But I spoke to him, he says if Teo wants it, we can do it, and he's also with the Bud Crawford sort of thing. But how desperate are you to face Josh Taylor? And use your son, who some say is the undisputed champion at 135. Josh undisputed at 140. I mean, two undisputed champions going at it.
Kidding me? That's what I want. I want those 4 belts, you know. I don't want to go backwards. I mean, we already showed everybody we're the best at 135. We beat the man to be the man. Why should we go backwards, If Josh Taylor's telling us that we need to fight Devin Haney before, to straighten everything out, we'll do that too. It doesn't matter, Lomachenko did the same thing to us. He says, you got to go get a belt, and we did it. So, listen, nothing surprises me anymore. I know everybody's scared of my son. I know Josh Taylor's scared of my son. A Josh Taylor that fought Ramirez will never beat my son. I had Josh Taylor losing the last 4 rounds in that fight. You do that with my son, you're gonna get knocked out. My son has already proven that he could go 12 rounds with the best guy in the world. Pound for pound, Lomachenko. We went the distance with him. We almost took him out in the 12th round. It was a fight that if Lomachenko would have committed in the earlier rounds, I believe that we would have knocked him out in 6 rounds, like I said it would. But he decided not to fight. So, it's hard to knock a guy out that's not trying to fight. But I mean, we almost had him in the 12th round. I believe that Josh Taylor's fight right now, the biggest fight that he could make right now is Teofimo Lopez after we knock out Kambosos. But we gotta do what we gotta do first, to ask for that fight. But trust me, once we knock out Kambosos, I'm coming after Josh Taylor.
What did you make of his fight with Ramirez then? How did you score the fight and what did you make of it?
I believe it was a very competitive fight until the knockdowns. There was a little bit of bad decisions made by the referee in that fight, where I think that Jose Ramirez, just trusted the referee. And I tell my son all the time, listen, when they break you up, don't ever, you gotta always maintain that, that defense, because you could get hit with any shot, when you're pulling back. So that was bad on Jose Ramirez's side, where he wasn't sharp enough to know that. He had to protect himself at all times. So I can't take that away from Josh Taylor. He took advantage of the moment and he did what he had to do. Now it's only him and my son right now. So let's go. Let's make it happen.
There's another fight that everybody wants on their lips is Devin Haney. Devin Haney and his team and Eddie Hearn, they're saying that your son is not the undisputed champion because Devin Haney is the WBC. You said you might want to straighten that fight out.
Eddie Hearn is not the WBC. Mauricio Suleiman already said my son has a prestigious belt. He's a top dog at 135, and he is the undisputed world champion. And when they call him out every time he fights, they're gonna call him out as the undisputed world champion, from now on. So I don't know what Josh Taylor's trying to, talk about, or what he's trying to. I don't know if he's scared. I don't know if he really believes that my son is not undisputed. But we'll find out real soon, man. Well, the way we're going to knock out Kambosos, and my son is going to skyrocket after this fight. You know what I'm saying? Because the industry is going to know who he is. We're stepping into another platform with the music industry, and that's going to help us a lot. I mean, they don't have any other fighter doing this. We're the first ones. We're the first real fighters that are chosen to do this. You know what I'm saying? They had a great card with Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson, and I respected that. They did big numbers, and I believe that we're going to do bigger numbers, when this fight comes. And they're doing a good, they're preparing this really good. I think that's why they moved the fight from June 5th to June 19th, because it's going to be a big performance. Just my son's performance alone when he walks in is going to be crazy, and I don't want nobody to miss that. It's going to be a hell of a show.
Well, fingers crossed. I think I'm coming out to Miami for that, so hopefully I'll get to experience this ring walk, because Teo's been talking about it, man. Like I said, you don't want to miss it, so I'm looking forward to it. But staying on your son right now, there's no shortage of tough fights for your son in 135 and 140. Regis Prograis at 140, and even at Gervonta Davis at 135. How difficult is it for you to make these fights happen for your son?
Listen, my son is everything that they are, but better, because he's smart when he goes into that ring. He just doesn't throw just punches. He reserves all his energy to make sure that he wins the fight, and he connects the right punches. That's why everybody's so in love with him, because every shot that he throws, everybody could see. He makes it clear for all the judges to score. My son already had 16 fights. 12 of those fights have been by knockout, and the other 4 have been by big numbers in unanimous decision. So I haven't He hasn't even struggled with nobody. You know, that Nakatani fight, they say that he struggled. He didn't struggle, man. I mean, you can't struggle when the referees have, I mean, when the judges have you winning 11 rounds to 1 or 12 rounds to 2. You know, I mean, 10 rounds to 2. So, you know, I'm really happy with what he's doing. You know, we're beating everybody convincingly, you know, and let's see what happens with Lomachenko Nakatani. I want to see that fight.
So do I. I do want to go back to, you said that Josh Taylor is scared. When you look at Josh's resume, his last 5 fights have all been undefeated world champions. Do you honestly think that Josh is scared of Teo?
Listen, because my son is a different breed. You know what I'm saying? When you sit down and you watch my son, he's a boxer. People are scared of boxers. And he's a puncher. And he's smart. So when you see those kinds of fighters, you're more scared because Jose Ramirez is he just keeps on coming and throwing combinations, you know. Very, very strong fighter, and that's one thing I tell my son. Being strong is not going to win you every fight. You know, sooner or later somebody's going to be better than you, you know. And they're going to analyze you and they're going to find your weakest spots. And that's what Josh Taylor did in this fight with Ramirez. I think that it would have been a draw if it wasn't for those 2 knockdowns, or maybe Ramirez would have probably won that fight. So it wasn't a convincingly fight for Josh Taylor. I don't think that he beat Ramirez bad, you know. So to me, I see a lot of bad things that Josh Taylor does, and I think that we could beat him. I think we could beat him, and we could beat him really bad, you know. Let's just take the fight. You know, tell your man Josh Taylor to take the fight. That's all he has to do.
I know Josh will probably watch this interview, so he'll probably have something to say after it. So, but have you got a word for the Josh Taylors, the Gervonta Davises, the Ryan Garcias, the Devin Haneys?
Yo, listen, we're here to fight the best. You know, if you're in front of my son, we're coming after you. That's all I gotta say. You know, and we're gonna nail this on June 19 with Kambosos, and we always do what we say we came to do. And my son is going to destroy him. I don't think it'll go more than 3 rounds, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm in Vegas. I might put a bet on that then. One final word. Why should the fans tune into Trillo on June 19th?
Listen, it's the best show in town. It's going to be, you know, Freedom Day, you know, so that's even crazier. You know, a lot of people are going to be celebrating that day. You know, just, you know, get some popcorn, you know, get some barbecue and watch the fight, because we're going to have a big performance before the fight. You know, my son is coming out with something really big that nobody has ever done, you know, when he walks out. And everybody got to be curious about it. So just watch the fight. It's only $60. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? $60 is nothing. So I'm just hoping for the whole world to watch this fight, because it's going to be amazing. It's something different. It's something different.
It's got me curious. So hopefully I'm out there in Miami. See you. Senior, thank you so much for doing this Fight Fight TV.
No problem. I love England, man. And where you from?
Scotland.
Scotland. Let's go, Scotland.
I love it. Senior, thank you so much.